Welcome to Be Feminine, the channel where deep psychology meets real attraction. If you're ready to unlock the secrets of human behavior and attraction, you're in the right place. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's elevate your game, one powerful insight at a time. Have you ever been in that situation where you're doing everything right? You're charming, confident, even a little mysterious, but she still doesn't make the first move? You might think it's just how things are, that women never take initiative. But what if I told you that's not true? What if I told you that there's a psychological trigger phrase, not just a line, but a way of speaking that causes a woman's brain to shift from passive to pursuer? Most men never experience this because they're taught to chase endlessly, but you're about to learn what only 1% of men ever figure out. The truth is, attraction isn't just about looks, money, or even status. It's about emotional power, your ability to awaken desire in her mind without pressuring her physically. This is how the few men who get chased actually do it. Not with force, but with subtle psychological cues that flip the script. And today, you're about to learn one of the most powerful. Let's rewind for a second. Human behavior, especially in romantic contexts, is governed by a blend of biological instincts and learned social behaviors. Women are biologically wired to be selective, cautious, and emotionally intuitive. But even more importantly, modern women are socially conditioned not to appear too eager, even when they're very interested. So how do you get around that? How do you get her to make the first move without asking for it? You spark pursuit behavior, and the way you do that is by combining verbal intrigue with emotional framing. This is where the trick comes in. It's a phrase, or rather, a style of phrasing that activates her curiosity, lowers her emotional defenses, and makes her feel like it's her idea to take action. But before I hand it over to you, I want you to understand how powerful this moment is. When a woman decides to make the first move, it means you've crossed a threshold most men never reach. You've become emotionally magnetic. You've given her something that feels rare, emotional safety plus challenge. And that, my friend, is pure attraction. Now, let me give you the structure of this phrase. It's not cheesy. It's not pickup artist nonsense. It's deeply rooted in psychological anchoring. The phrase goes like this: I get this feeling around you, like you're not used to someone seeing through your little games. That's it. But here is what is happening underneath the surface. You've created an emotional mystery. You're indirectly complimenting her, teasing her, and reading her all in one line. You're not validating her openly, which would make her feel in control. You're not negging her either, which can feel manipulative. You're making her feel seen, and at the same time, you're positioning yourself as someone who's not playing the average game. And trust me, that's incredibly rare. Women don't just respond to looks or charm, they respond to men who can emotionally read and redirect them. That's what this phrase starts to do. It opens a door most men don't even know exists. Let's break it down further, because what you just heard wasn't just a line. It was an emotional blueprint. Why does a woman feel pulled towards someone who says something like, "You're not used to someone seeing through your games"? First, it lightly challenges her ego. It makes her curious. Wait, what games does he think I play? It gets her attention. Second, it implies you've been around, you're not naive or easily impressed. This builds a sense of mystery and experience. Third, it sparks a moment of emotional intimacy, like you see something in her others miss. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. According to multiple psychological studies on reactance theory, people, especially women in social dynamics, are more likely to take action when they feel they're doing so by choice, not due to outside pressure. That's exactly what this line creates. It lowers her guard, flips the social script, and makes her feel like she wants to initiate further interaction. Whether it's a subtle touch, a flirty follow-up, or even texting you first, she feels the need to regain perceived control by taking the lead. Now remember, delivery matters. You don't say this phrase like you're reading from a manual. You say it with a smirk, with eye contact, and with relaxed body language. You're not trying to game her, you're inviting her to emotionally play with you. You're showing that you're different. In fact, 99% of men do the opposite. They overcompliment, overtext, chase relentlessly, and guess what? That energy kills her attraction. Why? Because it creates no emotional tension. A woman's brain doesn't crave clarity right away, it craves emotional charge. That means unpredictability, curiosity, and a sense of depth. When she feels those things, she becomes emotionally invested. When she's emotionally invested, she starts to pursue. That's the psychology behind making the first move. It's not about begging for attention. It's about creating space where her curiosity leads her to act. Let me give you a real example. A client of mine, we'll call him Alex, was stuck in what he called the nice guy trap. Women liked him but never chased him. I had him reframe his conversations using phrases like the one we just covered. Instead of saying things like, "You're beautiful," he started saying things like, "There's something about the way you look at people, like you already know how they'll react," and boom, something changed. One woman leaned in, laughed, and touched his arm. Another messaged him later that night, saying, "I can't stop thinking about what you said." Why? Because he stopped trying to impress and started creating emotional resonance. And here's the kicker: when a woman feels that kind of resonance, she will take initiative because it feels like she's emotionally safe and intrigued. That's the secret sauce. That's why less than 1% of men ever reach that level. It is not about being alpha or being nice, it is about being emotionally aware and bold enough to play with energy instead of control. So here's what you do next. Practice this not just as a phrase, but as a mindset. You are not the chaser, you are the inviter. You don't earn her attention by proving yourself, you invite her energy by presenting emotional layers she can't ignore. Remember, most men operate from desperation or validation-seeking behavior, but your power lies in detachment. When you speak like someone who sees into her, not just at her, she feels rare, seen, and surprisingly disarmed. That emotional disarmament is what causes her to break the rules she normally follows, like not texting first or not showing too much interest. This is why powerful emotional cues win over superficial tactics. The man who can speak to her subconscious wins the game she didn't even know she was playing. And that's you now. Also, timing matters. You don't drop this line 5 minutes into the conversation. You wait until there's a vibe, a rhythm. You mirror her energy a little, then when she's comfortable, you shift the tone slightly. Let her feel like something just changed. That's when you hit her with the phrase. You'll see it in her eyes, that quick flicker of emotional reaction. And from that moment, the dynamic is different. She'll test you. She'll initiate subtle touches. She'll find ways to stay in your presence. Why? Because in her mind, you're not like the others. And that's everything. You've made her curious, and curiosity, paired with emotional challenge, is what unlocks pursuit behavior in women. Now let's wrap this up with one final thought. Attraction isn't about chasing or impressing, it's about inviting curiosity, creating emotional tension, and allowing her to come forward. And with just one phrase, said the right way, you've already planted that seed. Most men never learn this, but you just did. So the next time you're talking to a woman and things feel right, pause, lower your voice just a bit, and say, "You're not used to someone seeing through your little games, are you?" Then sit back and watch what happens. Chances are, she'll make the move because in that moment, you've just made yourself unforgettable. And that is exactly what only 1% of men ever figure out. Thanks for watching Be Feminine, where deep psychology meets real-world attraction. If you found this insight powerful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and never stop learning the language of true connection.